So I also would like to welcome all of you, the 12th conference and the 12th meeting of Nobel laureates and secondary school students. I think especially from the secondary school teachers, there are a couple of people who already been here from the very beginning when we decided actually to establish a multi-generational new school and program of excellence, since our foundation's main aim to keep in Hungary and make more educated in science the really most talented secondary school students. Of course, if you would like to change in any systems, or you would like to introduce a new system, you have to make a SWOT analysis. First of all, you need to understand what is your strength. You also need to understand what is your weakness. Also, what is the opportunity? And of course, always there are threats. It's threats also if you keep your way of doing something, if you don't change. But of course, changing is always a risk, whether you change for a better environment or you change maybe to a worse environment. Let's look at Hungary. What is really our strengths? If you look at historically, the Hungarian scientists or Hungarian people were really contributed to scientific discoveries in the last century. There are 15 Nobel laureates of Hungarian origin, and especially if we look at how many of them get the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine, we have to look at that almost in every 20 years, there was a Hungarian in the last century who received the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. It started with Robert Bárány in 1914, who received the Nobel Prize. However, at that time, he was actually working in Vienna. The other one, I think, one of the most famous one, and especially we give the biggest interest to Albert Szent-Györgyi, who actually received the Nobel Prize in 1937. And the curiosity of this Nobel Prize was that he actually did all the research. He received the Nobel Prize actually in Szeged, at the University of Szeged. Of course, it didn't stop the Hungarian success in the last century, because also György Békessy in 1961 got a Nobel Prize. However, he did his research activity at Harvard University. And not many people know that also Gajdusek, who received the Nobel Prize in 1976, and he did the research at the National Institute of Health, he had Hungarian origin. However, at that time, the part where he lived actually was in Romania. But if you look at the history and you look at the Hungarian folk music and Hungarian way how we live this culture, I think everyone knows that he was originally not Romanian but Hungarian. So if you look at the last century, almost every 20 years there was a success. However, after that it stopped. And if we look at the scientific activity, it's really not as high as like in the last century. So always when you look at the historical success, what you need to do, you need to understand which led the success. So let's look at how could have happened that Szent-Györgyi did brilliant research in Szeged, and this research and his discoveries led to the Nobel Prize. First of all, you need a town, and you need a university. Szeged was really a welcoming city in 1921, since Szeged received the Franz Joseph University, and that time actually it was also a giving city, because the city and also the government built many places, the clinics, laboratories around the Dome Cathedral. So if you go around in the center of the Szeged, most of that was built up in 1921. And also the university from Kolozsvár actually moved to Szeged. But of course you not only need bricks and buildings, you also need talents. And that time, of course, Albert Szent-Györgyi, who was really a brilliant scientist, and he was very active, he got actually the Nobel Prize for the research he has done around at the age between 35 and 40. So actually he found this area is a good place to come home. Of course, this is the strength we had in the last century, but if we look at the mirror very carefully, we can see weaknesses. If you look at actually how many people left Hungary from 2009, it must be scary. Around 500,000 have left the country since 2009, and if we look at the ages, 60% of them aged between 25 and 45, and this is the largest amount of people who left the country. On the other hand, if we look at about the quality of the people who is now outside of Hungary, 93% of these being elite, really elite talent. So where and when we lose the really active and really talented students? First of all, we must understand that after you finish the secondary school, many of you who was really brilliant and even in OKTV competitions they won prizes, most of them start their career at foreign universities. Secondly, the really brightest doesn't choose science in their career because this is really a competitive one, and of course if in Hungary is not competitively well in science, it's not worth for the talented students to choose science. And if we look at if a talented students coming to the university, not always the most talented ones can go to the best laboratories because you need time at the university to find out which laboratories are really the best. So this program also helps you at the very beginning to choose really the best quality laboratories in Szeged. However, we also have a problem that after graduation, the very best students after university also leave the country. So if we look at around at age of 16, almost all the talented people are still in Hungary, and they are here. However, if we look at about the age of 24, so within 8 years, almost the best students leaving the country. So this is really a problem, and we really need something new educational system for excellence is really crucially needed. However, if we look at our school system, which is currently existed, this kind of school system hasn't been established. So what are the opportunities? The whole story started actually in 2012, where we celebrated the 75th anniversary of Albert Szent-Györgyi's Nobel Prize. And at that time, 9 Nobel laureates visited us and giving lectures, and also students from secondary schools were here. And we could see about the faces of the secondary schools, the Nobel laureates, and everyone said that it would be much, much better not meeting good scientists and good opportunities only every anniversaries, but we should build up a program actually which can keep it continue. And if we look at after that, we built up a structures, and from now, every year, we could organize a meeting where really the most talented students could meet high-quality scientists. And we established the foundation, which is actually the foundation for the future of biomedical sciences of Szeged. And we developed the Szeged Scientists Academy program, which is a new type of education system. So what is the threats? The best and the brightest people who choose not to going with their career in the science, of course, this is a danger. And if the best people from our countries always going to the west part of Europe or America, really the differences in science between the countries will widen further. So actually, if we look at the current situation, we must do something. And because of that, of course, the SWOT analysis show that we need to do something, and to do something, you need smart plans. You need to be specific, measurable. Also, you need to be attractive, you need to be relevant, and time realistic. Let's look at what is the really realistic. When we sought to build up this program, almost most of the people said it's impossible. Of course, inviting Nobel laureates, bringing here many teachers, students, building a house, this program is impossible. So if we look at like what Audrey Hepburn, and we look at the word about what does it mean impossible, Always we started interested in the project more effectively because they said impossible, but if you look at the word, it means I am possible. So we really believed ourselves that we are capable of bringing a new program. And this new program we sent to the Hungarian government, and the dream really came true in 2015 December when we received the governmental fund which keep annually an amount of money which allows us to organize this program for the excellence students. And what is the specific aim of the program? So if you look at, we have secondary schools, university, doctoral schools, and postdoctoral fellowship. So we built up bridges. We built up bridges between these kind of horizontal educational system, and this called like a multi-generational new school, when we can identify you when you are at the secondary school, and we can build your career up with you, and we can help you to be really internationally competitive scientists. So the main aim of the program that your secondary school students find you. This is very important, and as Professor András Varró said, this is a key point. And at the class, when you are in the 10th, you join to a 2 years secondary school program, which actually ended when you are in the 12 years. And this program, of course, under constructions and building, and new ideas coming, and also new laboratories are built. But this will be a really basis of the program. And after that, when you are in the 12th years, and this is why you are here, we would like to show you what will happen in the 6-year program at the university. And this one will be introduced by Professor Zoltán Rakoncai, who is leading the university program. So what is the measurable parameters? So this is the building. We will renew and we will rebuild it to be absolutely a good home for you. This actually just has been started. And most probably within 18 months, it will be ready to move in. Of course, we need really brilliant secondary school students. We really need good secondary school students next to the teachers. And of course, we need mentors. We have approximately 40 mentors from Szeged, from the Biological Research Center, and from the university. And of course, we must understand that currently we are not as high as scientific level than in the international parts from Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Zurich, and all other big universities. So we are very thankful for all of the foreign scientists who agreed to come and join to our program. And of course, if you are successful from the secondary school part of the program and you join to the university ones, you are more than welcome to be educated during this course. Of course, this is an in and out program, so those students, of course, who couldn't join at the first year, always will get the possibility of joining again. So already we have more than 100 secondary schools affiliated to the programs, and we currently have more than 1,000 students and 123 schools which are affiliated to the system. And of course, if you have such many secondary schools, you need centers of excellence, when there could be laboratories where during the 2-year secondary school programs, you can test yourself, you can use the laboratories, and you can learn more scientific knowledge. Of course, you need 2 centers, and the 2 centers, the national centers, is in Szeged and also in Hódmezővásárhely. However, of course, we also would like to bring into the system not only the secondary schools from Hungary, but all the secondary schools where currently they learn on Hungarian language, to bring all the Hungarian people together. Of course, during the visits, in the last 11 visits, you came asked plenty of questions, which is the most frequently asked questions. First of all, if you come to Szeged and you are not a citizen of Szeged, where will you live? And this is what I mentioned, that we will make a really absolutely brilliant and high facility for you. So actually, this is the basement. There will be fitness room, restaurants, and all possibility to have social area to discuss your research and your programs with other scientists. Of course, we will have 2 main rooms and 2 main mentors, seminar rooms for you. So if the students would like to meet the international mentors, you will have a special rooms for doing that. Of course, we have a brilliant main hall for all of the presentations, gala dinners, and everything which possible. And of course, all the students will get special rooms. And the main aim is to have it like a 4-5 stars hotel quality in order to have really home for you. And if you look at about already, there are plans how the building will look like, and we believe that within 18 months this center and this house will be ready for you to move in. So who will teach me? It's always a question if you go to a university system. And as I mentioned to you, there will be local mentors, 34, 40 mentors, both at the University of Szeged and also at the biological research centers. There are really good mentors who will look after you. We have 3 different types of mentors, junior mentors, and who are at the lab with you. You will have mentors giving you ideas, and of course we will have international mentors who will come in. And we plan that the international mentors continue the year, will come, give lectures and discuss the results with you. The other issue is you have many times query about whether you are good enough or what kind of skill you need. You need to be curiosity. You need to have curiosity, and you would like to find out something which is unknown. I think this is the most important skill. You need to do that, and you need to be curious, otherwise you cannot be actually a good scientist. So what you need, what other things you need to be successful? Of course, you need plenty of luck. And we always believe in luck. And if you would like to cross walls which is unknown, and somebody saying you that it's impossible to go through this wall, yes, I must say it's really possible to go through, and you need luck. What does it mean, luck? You need to have a vision. Where do you want to live? How do you want to spend your life? Of course, you need to be successful young talents, and you need to run this program successfully only with you. Of course, you need objectives, and as could you see, secondary school program, university school program, you really have the specific objectives going through. Of course, you need to do that ethically. You need a strategy, otherwise you cannot go through. You need to understand where do you want to go. You need to really focus on your aims, and you need to go not day after day, but you need to plan in advance what you want to do. You need to have inspiration. If you don't have inside inspiration, it's always difficult to get luck. You need partners, and this is what we call luck, because if you put these skills together and these opportunities, you definitely will be successful. So what we really would tell you that around in January, February, you need to decide which university you would like to continue your education. We strongly can suggest you that the Szeged Scientists Academy will be a very good host to trust. And if you trust us, we definitely will help you to be successful. So thank you very much for your attention. And after that, we also will introduce you what will happen you at the university level. Thank you.